72.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name is Sierra Steinmetz.
Brian Schuby.
Carrie Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones home team.
And this is episode 72, and we're starting off spicy here maybe. Carrie's diving into some politics in real estate, I think. So see where we go from there. But I think, well, Sierra, you're kicking us off, I think, right? Shub, home purchase cancellations, which I did have a Jared James thing. I lost it, but yeah, he was talking quite a bit about that as well. Real estate, is it still a safe investment? 2026, I'm going to guess. I don't know. I'll save my guess for there. And then I'm talking, what was I getting? Oh, land split. So I know we talked a little bit about that. Just, I could talk all day about it. But, you know, if people all the time, I just want to go buy some land and build a house. Is it that easy? Yeah. Well, you have to wait. You have to find out, I guess. So, all right, Sierra, what are we into?
Okay. Talking about real estate, it's kind of always been marketed as a safe investment. A lot of people say you'll never really lose out on investing in real estate. But obviously in today's day and age, times have changed a lot. Higher rates, affordability is a thing now. I mean, it's always been a thing, but it's a lot closer of a ceiling there for a lot of people. And just changing lifestyles and economic things like that. Is it still definitively safe as an investment?
Is any investment safe, though?
Right.
I guess we'll have to look at the definition of investment, but that probably means there's probably some risk involved, I imagine. So
exactly. And I don't know. I mean, I guess question for you guys, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of safe investment? Is it real estate
Bitcoin,
or is it something
for sure.
else?
Just,
Dogecoin.
Yeah. Yes. Whatever random meme coin pops up.
I mean, real estate, sure, because then, like, we talked about this a while, like, it's been a really long time ago, but no matter what, at least you have that to fall back on. So if you lose everything, you've still got the house.
Yeah, you still have a roof over your head then. Yeah, I would say, real estate's got to be the safest. You know what I mean? What's the old adage? I mean, they're not making any more of it. So there's only so much land to go around, and you could own something in a good area or bad area might make a big difference. But
I mean, I kind of just even look at it from a standpoint of even like foreclosures. Like, so if you would, if something were to happen, when I first started, like, you could see foreclosures for like $20,000, $30,000.
Sure.
And now anymore, it's like, even if a property comes up for foreclosure, it's like $80,000.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so even when a property, from 7 or 8 years ago, if it got foreclosed on, it was like $30,000, and now it's like $80,000. It's just like, even at its worst, that property's condition at its worst, it seems like those values are going up.
People are still looking for those deals.
Yeah.
What was that $20,000 foreclosure? Well, you probably really don't want to see it today. $20,000 foreclosure.
If it really were 20, it'd
probably
be
a demo site.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess kind of full circle, why did real estate kind of coin as the safe investment? Reputation, obviously it's tangible. You can live in or rent it or both, depending on the property. Historically, it's always appreciated over time for the most part. Inflation hedge. Rents and values tend to rise with inflation for the most part again. And leverage, from a leverage standpoint, you control a large asset with relatively little cash, depending on what you're putting down, what you're required to put down, and all that, which is true. I mean, most of the time when someone buys a house, that's one of the largest purchases they'll ever make in their life. And especially with all the different mortgage products that we have now, you can do as little as 3% down and have an asset that's worth over $100,000.
That is a fantastic point. I guess the amount of leverage you get buying real estate versus like you buy stock. If you want $100,000 in stock, you need $100,000 unless you're buying on completely risky leverage, I guess.
Right.
So,
It could be a slumlord too if you have to until you can put money into it. So that's why it's sitting there appreciating, even if you're not
the one thing
doing a
with
whole
real
lot to
estate
it.
too is you can borrow against it. So
Right.
So I think that's a huge factor too.
Absolutely. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't think of when it comes to that as well, that you can borrow against that, against the home
equity
itself. Yep. Yeah, with the equity and whatnot. So yeah, I guess what poses the question in the first place, what's different about it now? We've got higher interest rates. You got to make the math make sense if it's an investment property. Same with insurance, taxes, and maintenance. All of that has increased, especially over the past 5 or 6 years, I would say.
Yeah.
And we all know that. And then again, with the affordability thing, it's not just even on the purchase side of it. When you're purchasing what you can afford, it's what can the next person afford if you want to get rid of it or if you need to get rid of it,
right?
And what that is going to do for your profit at the end of the day. Obviously, no one wants to get out in the negative when you're selling a home. We don't see that a lot, but it does happen.
I've yet to find one seller that's been happy about losing money selling their house.
Right. Yeah. Right. So a good note that I liked was that real estate isn't necessarily risk-free. It's risk-shifted. It just really is situational on the property, on the person, whatever you're doing with it. I guess like going a little deeper between primary and investment homes, and what that looks like depending on how you're investing. If you're investing in your primary home that you're planning on living in for a long time, the longevity of that house has to make more sense compared to maybe an investment property that, as long as the math can make sense, what your cash flow is going to be, that's fine. But if it's somewhere that you're going to be living yourself and for a long amount of time, I mean, mortgages are generally 30 years long. I guess it just really depends on what your needs are and what you're looking to do with the property over time.
Like the investments in a property makes a big difference. If it's a rental property, putting money into it versus, so just to pick on Kelly, she'd be like, well, if we're investing in this, we could just put on a new deck. And I'm like,
no,
on our house, I'm like,
that's not making you money.
That's not just like investing. This is just spending money.
Right.
So I guess it's an investment long term, but it's still like,
there are investors that won't do that though. They'll live in their own slum while they're making money on a rental property because that's making them money.
Oh, very true.
Not slum, but not
absolutely.
what they want, only so that they can make money.
Right.
What does Dave Ramsey say? Live like nobody else now so you can live like nobody else later, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we've seen a lot too, investors are pivoting more to the few and far between smaller deals that you can find when it does happen to be a low cash price. If you can make that work, then you can make that work, especially if you can do a lot of the work yourself. Or you see a lot of investors purchase those properties that you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, that would make sense cash flow wise. Like if it's over $100,000, I'm just speaking for our area. That seems like a lot for our area.
In some areas, probably.
That seems like a very large investment into a property in our area. And then there's a lot of partnerships that have come out of like all these rising costs and stuff like that, to work into the long term of it all. Or, you got one half that's doing more of the financing the investment, other half that's like working the actual investment, doing the work. You just see a lot more of that now, I feel like, of people that are coming together to do those kinds of things because of the affordability. Well,
sometimes you do have to, partner up on some of these bigger deals than to where you used to be able to pull some of that stuff off yourself, but anymore that's harder and harder. I think being handy definitely helps a lot then too.
Absolutely.
Well, that's where my wife likes to remind me I'm very handy. I can do a lot of that stuff. I just don't do it.
Or don't have the time.
I already have all the tools. That's my
time.
excuse. I don't have the time. Like my time's better suited for sitting on the couch, babe. Like
right. So I guess kind of coming back around it, real estate is definitely one that involves patience, and a lot of investments do. There's not a ton of investments where you're going to have a bunch of gain right out of the gate. You're going to have to sit on it at least for a little bit, unless it's a house that you can flip and the money makes sense, the investment makes sense, and then you can turn around and sell it. But then you get into capital gains, you get into all those types of things. So I mean, it just requires patience and a little bit of timing as well, depending on what you're doing with the property. When you look at, like we talked about stocks earlier, a lot more volatile than housing. We've said a million times, prices of housing is still going to continue to go up, even if it's slower than it has been, which again, the patience, if you can just wait it out until that makes sense to do whatever you're going to do with it, whether it's the rent price or the sale price, whatnot. I
think if time's on your side, you can't lose generally.
Right,
I mean, a house could burn down, you can not take care of it, anything like that, obviously, just weird stuff. But if you need to sell it in 6 months, probably not. But if you can own it for 5, 10, 20 years, you're going to win, probably.
You're usually going to get a return on something like that.
Cash flow right now, like, I don't know if you guys, like every deal we've looked at personally or investors are looking at, it's just the cash flow doesn't work out.
Yeah. The math ain't math.
Yeah, the math don't math. Yeah, that's a say. I mean, Carrie, you and I talked about that one. I would love to have bought it, but it just, the math didn't make sense for us. So, but
absolutely. Yep. And then looking at back to the primary home thing, I guess another point that I just wanted to add in is when you're purchasing a primary home that's going to be an investment into, your lifestyle and over long term or whatever that looks like, or if it's going to be just your starter home that's going to be 5-10 years or whatever. Buying below your max, not at your max, to kind of provide, obviously you can get pre-approved on paper for a certain amount for what it looks like you can't afford, but that doesn't necessarily include a lot of other things like utilities, other types of monthly bills like groceries, all kinds of stuff like that. So if you are able to purchase below whatever that mark is, it's going to ultimately help you not be so strapped month to month.
Max out the 100% of what you can possibly borrow.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Especially when, what did you say, that electric outlet, you were going to replace electrical outlets to add
they were like
night light.
$45 a piece.
Yeah, $45 for a little, yeah. And then you think about putting money into a house. If you want to do it that way, if you want to do it the right way, or a certain way, then yeah, you have to set aside that cushion so that you can afford some of those things.
Absolutely. Yeah, so ultimately I feel like if real estate's going to be your way to invest, it's got to be someone that can long-term be patient. If it's going to be not a primary residence, if you can prioritize the cash flow over anything else, that's probably going to be the most useful. Right now in the market, maybe probably not the best for short-term flips, stuff like that. And like we just said, like if you're kind of stretching financially to get to whatever price point it was going to be, it might not be the best investment over time for you as compared to another route. So yeah, and again, it's not something that you're necessarily going to see gains out of immediately, and that's just something you have to keep in mind when it comes to investing in real estate. But
you should maybe think of something too, probably almost a whole nother topic for another episode, but primary residence, talking investment and getting your gains out of it, that if you live in your home 2 out of the last 5 years, you know, all that for the most part is tax-free, things like that. Yeah. So there's the whole checklist of things you would need to kind of go through from that. But yeah, from an investment standpoint, little money in, leverage it in, sell it in 5 or 10 years, all that, for the most part, all that appreciation or gain is going to be almost tax-free then too. So get that in any other stock or investment, something like that. So. Well,
that's what
good.
I got.
So what's a verdict? What was the thing you did the one time? Or are we?
Yeah, in or out? Are we in or out on investing in real estate for 2020?
You smash or pass on investing in real estate? What are you doing?
I'm smashing.
Yeah.
I'm smashing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that word. I'm in on investing. So, all right, who's next?
Oh, I'll go get it over with.
It's
politics.
This sounds enthralling.
I mean, it's politics. This is the Valentine's Day special, so I was gonna do, you'll like fall in love with your house or like something romantic, like how to romanticize your property, and I'm like, politics and real estate. Here we go.
Perfect.
Romantic.
So romantic.
Talk to me nice.
Well, I'm not going to romanticize this. Trump said, this has been about 3 to 4 days ago, that he doesn't want to drive house prices down. He wants to drive the prices up. And he said specifically, I want to drive the house prices up for people that own their house, and they can be assured that's what's going to happen. So my take on that is he wants folks to retain value. The people that have bought their house the right way and lived in it a long enough time, he wants to, basically reward them with, keeping that monetized value of their home. But to that effect, I see a lot of backlash on social media being like, oh, it's going to pop, let the housing market flop, 2008 crash is going to happen again. And people are saying that it's basically giving Gen Zers the middle finger, like trying to come into or not just Gen Z. I mean, that was specifically pointed out.
I hear so much about that, but I think every generation's like that way. Like
anybody entering the market, that they're, basically giving them the finger. Like, good luck buying a house, buddy. Like, it's only for the rich and wealthy, which, we just talked about. It's not.
Born in the 1900s, right? It was so easy for me. I mean, everybody would just roll out the red carpet. It was just like, here's a house, here's keys. Like, it was
hard work.
It was hard as hell. Yeah. Like, you just had to do all the work. Save the money, get the credit, do everything else. So,
that's right.
Other than 2005 through 8.
I was going to say, there might have been a little
other than 2005 through 8, they gave money to literally anybody that was alive. But other than that, it was hard work. So, sorry, anyways.
No, you're good. But meanwhile, the whole like Gen Z whatever thing happening, Trump says like, I don't want the prices to come down. And he was referring to the home prices. He said, we've got millions of people that own their houses, and for the first time they're wealthy because their house is worth XYZ.
Sure.
500, 600 more or less. He said, I don't want to do anything to knock that down. We're not going to destroy the value of their homes so that somebody that didn't work very hard can buy a home. So I don't know specifically who he's pointing out, but if he's just saying as a blanket statement, like we want to make sure that the people that work hard are going to be rewarded with home ownership, which is kind of bullshit because I feel like everybody is worthy of home ownership, but whatever.
Right. Well, you still have to put in the work. I mean, to that point, you need to put in the work.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was talking
about. I don't think
about,
like if you've got like shit credit and you can't keep a job and you can't like why do you think you need to own a home? Like, you know, you're talking yourself right into a hole at that point. So total like a kind of sidetrack there. Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh as Fed chair. So Warsh is a Fed critic and former member of Central Bank's Board of Governors. And he said that we can lower the interest rate. In doing so, they'll get a 30-year rate mortgage affordable. And that's going to get the housing market going again by dropping that rate. And
is it going to make it affordable, though?
I don't know.
Like
there's been a lot of critics saying...
even if it is, we still don't have the housing supply,
the inventory,
to satisfy that.
Yeah. So my side notes are that even if they do drop the interest rates, we're still in a hole. We're at half capacity on available homes available. Mortgage applications surged last week. Even with the snowstorm, they were up, I forget what they said, 18% or something.
Just with that little bit of drop.
Yeah. And interest rates are still over 6%. I think we talked, it's like 6.5 right now. So, I mean, people are still buying even with the dip, even with the snowstorm, they're still buying, and with that interest rate. So if they do drop those again, like I think it was Fox News advocates were saying that if they drop those rates like that it's going to cause another 08 house crisis. I don't know. I'm not a financial guru. I don't know what the cause and effect is of this and that, and how the feds cut stuff and how it affects the mortgages versus the prime rate and so on. But
I could see it doing the 2021, 22, 23 craziness.
Yes, and that's where I'm at.
I don't see how that turns into 08. Because they lower rates doesn't mean they're suddenly giving money again. Like, oh, you're alive, you have a pulse, here's money. Like that was the problem.
If they drop the rates and they keep what is happening, like with what the expectations are to buy a house, which is most any buyer that's ready, willing, and able to buy a house. Sure. And they do this rate drop, then that's going to push the cost up because we're already short-staffed. We're already short supply on inventory. And now you're talking about a rate cut. And now we've talked about this for months and months. Like everybody's waiting for the bottom to fall out, but it just seems like house prices keep going up. Yeah, they're correcting a little bit, but we were also in November, December. Houses are still selling. I mean, they're selling around here, some a little slower than others.
But they're still moving.
Still moving.
Correct. Someone will have to fact check this, but I'm pretty sure that 2005, 6, 7, like the interest rates were still like mid fives. I think I'm pretty sure there are a lot of 5s and 6s like they are today. So
they were
I don't
just
think
giving them to people that shouldn't have been getting loans.
Not the percentage of the rate. So if they drop the percentage rate again, I think that's only going to increase the amount of buyers. But unless they change the standards, I don't know that it does.
But I think that's important. I think they can drop the interest rate, but keep the standard high. And so you're rewarding good behavior, rewarding people that have paid attention to their credit, have paid attention to their debt to income ratio. That
not them Gen Zers, though, because apparently they don't do any of that, I guess.
Hey, that's social media. That's not me. It literally says it's basically giving middle finger to Gen Z and first-time homeowners entering the market. That was a quote from, I don't know if it was AOL or what. Anyway, where does all this leave us? So even though Warsh has been criticized from his efforts, Trump's basically he's holding this in his hand that let me back up. Trump has been reluctant to support any policies that might push prices down. Mortgage rates are left as a major push as his affordable efforts. So basically he's saying that, yes, prices will continue to go up, but if we drop interest rates, he thinks that in his back pocket that's going to help with affordability because more buyers will be able to, whether or not that's going to gold rush everybody into the housing market and cause another 01, 02, or 2001, 2002, or whatever.
21, 22.
21, 22.
I'm with you.
We talked about this. We should have not talked about that before we went on. But yeah, I think it's going to cause more people to come out of the woodwork and that have been waiting on the sidelines, and that's going to cause more, more bidding wars, more people trying to get that, more people selling their homes because they finally have a place to go and the inventory will switch. And yes, it may be a seller's market, but then it's becoming a buyer's market too, which is going to end up
we've talked that to death.
Leveling it somewhat
how many sellers are there that would sell, but they are in a 2.75% interest rate. So as soon as they get down there again, like we've talked this to death.
Do they refi? I mean, I don't know.
No, I think that a lot of those people want to move. They just they're not going to go borrow at 6.5% when. So, yeah, I don't know. So what I guess
what's the verdict?
Yeah, what's the verdict? Yeah. So
so advocates are saying that if they overhaul the rates, it'll cause another '08 crash. So I guess my question is, do we think that these house prices are going to go up, rates are going to come down, and it's going to cause another rush? Or do we think that everybody's waiting for the bottom to fall out? Is the bottom going to fall out?
I just feel like that it's going to cause another '08 thing is so ignorant. Like,
Right.
It happened once, and like you said, if you had a pulse, you could get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's not how it works anymore.
They learned from that.
Yes,
I hope.
very strict now how that works.
Yeah.
And how getting approved and getting a loan to qualify and close.
Yeah. What's your blood type?
Like,
what's
bring
the
a stool sample,
name of your firstborn?
Yeah, right. Like it's not, you don't just like walk in and say, hey, my name is so and so.
Yeah,
I need $80,000. Like that's not.
No.
How
Wish
it works.
you literally did that though.
Right.
Like I mean,
Right.
it's,
and a handshake.
It sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. I mean, they would give money to almost anybody.
Right.
So if you could produce a pay stub from somewhere and you were live at closing, good.
Right. Like I just feel like, and yes,
I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's
no, it's not. It's not.
It may cause, like you said, another 21, 22 surge in everything. But again, it's at least things are moving. At least things are happening. At least people are having that opportunity, and they're not getting locked in at a 7.5% rate, like something like that. That's just outrageous. Historically,
and people are still tired of waiting for a house,
right?
Like at what point interest rates they went up 0.5% or whatever they went up, people don't care. They've been waiting so long to buy a house. They're like, I'm over it. I can't live with my parents anymore. I can't live in this little apartment anymore. I can't fill in the blank.
I'll just wait a couple months. It's turned into I've waited 2 or 3 years now.
I'm over it. Like we have to move.
Yeah, it feels like more of an equalizer a little bit, not entirely. Like I know that's probably not the most accurate thing to say, but like, yeah, prices might jump up a little bit because there's going to be more buyers if the rates drop, but then it's still a lower rate than where they would have been.
And we still don't have enough houses.
Right.
Yeah, and we still don't. We still have more buyers looking than houses.
Yeah.
Depending upon, it's all, real estate is always local, so every market's different. Like I was literally just in Columbus this morning and they're throwing houses up. There's a million new houses everywhere, but around here there's not. So I don't know, but the market's still insane down there.
I was going to say that's a hot zip code, right?
Yes,
people are still trying to flock there. So
yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the question? Is it going to be 08 again?
I don't know.
I'm 1,000% it's not going to be 08 again. Again, anything could happen, but the same recipe is not on the table.
I think the next
currently.
rush of buyers is coming, and I think we just need to be braced for whatever that looks like.
Yep. All right. And sorry, Gen Zers. I didn't mean to pick. I don't even know what a Gen Z is.
I don't even know. I have to have that. They keep
but,
changing it, but I need like that chart that says like what the age is and what the. I don't even know, but
I don't know.
If you work hard, save your money, mind your credit.
Yeah.
You can buy a house.
Right.
I don't care what generation you are, if you're a 1900s person or a
1900s.
or a Gen Z or X or Y, whatever. You can buy a house. So just got to put in the work.
Don't make any major purchases right before or change your job mid-purchase.
Don't get a loan. Well, then too, I could talk about this all day. Maybe you need to move too. Like if you're in, I'm just making stuff up, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you're working at Lowe's. I don't know why I'm picking on that. You probably can't buy a $3 million house.
Right.
So you need to have realistic expectations, I'm sure, then too. So maybe you need to go somewhere else and.
Yeah. Well, that and like maybe your parents get ill and you have to come back, or maybe somebody has a baby and they need some extra help. I mean, there's a plethora of reasons why people move, upsize, downsize, moving laterally. I mean, whatever. But
move here. We have plenty of affordable housing. Northwest Ohio. Come on, we'll take care of you. So, all right. Well, that was fun. Sorry, Gen Z. Go, Shub. What do you got?
So Redfin released some data from December of 2025 that shows about 40,000 home purchase agreements were canceled, which is 16.3% of all homes under contract, which is the highest cancellation rate on record since they've started keeping track since 2017. I was going to say, I think the link that I had sent you, Bill, had a cool little graph. So why cancellations are rising? Buyers are being more selective because inventory has grown and competition among buyers has eased, giving buyers the power to walk away if they find a better or more affordable option or encounter issues during inspections. High housing costs and persistent mortgage affordability challenges continue to weigh on buyer confidence. So that's just a little graph there that kind of shows since they started keeping track, what the percentage of cancellations was per a month.
That would have been COVID.
That was literally
wow.
when March of 20. That's when COVID kind of made its debut here in the States.
So people were maybe scared
or lost their jobs or
whatever. So prices or cancellations kind of went up there.
So it's literally higher, 0.01% higher than during COVID right now.
Correct.
That's nuts.
Of people canceling contracts. Some notable trends. So highest cancellation rates, Atlanta with 22.5%, Jacksonville and San Antonio with 20.6%. And then the lowest cancellation rates are Nassau County, New York, which I'm not sure what cities that is.
I don't know.
San Francisco and San Jose, which are the one in New York was 3.8, San Francisco 4.2, and San Jose 8.9.
What is it with the Octobers here? So October 22 is really high. October 23 was really high.
People get scared with Halloween.
I was just going to say the holidays.
Well, I noticed since around 18, 19, it's kind of trending upward. I wonder if that has anything to do, not necessarily with like the uncertainty of markets, but more so buyer knowledge about what their rights are and their abilities to walk away within a contract.
Where did that? What was the low?
I would love to
see
see
at the end.
The low here was
no over towards 2025, like in 2025.
Oh, here March of 25 was low. But it's like every year.
But it's
like,
still
it's
even
the lowest,
kind of higher compared to like, and I would love to see like a prior to
lowest in March, highest end of the year. Lowest in March, highest end of the year. Lowest in March, highest. Like, I wonder why that is.
Running out of money.
Yeah, people ran out of money by the end of the holidays.
Tax returns.
Yeah, I don't
tax
know.
returns. I don't know.
That's wild. So higher than COVID.
So just something to keep an eye on.
Water in the basement, wet season. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you got to think about too how many. This could have absolutely nothing to do with it, but all those quick flips that happened recently that might have gone into contract and then they realize, oh, this was actually really terribly done and completed, and then they get a home inspection done and then they're like, yeah, never mind. Stuff like that.
It just seemed like the whole COVID rush.
Yeah,
there was very few cancellations. It felt like
people were
just
panic buying. I think.
Well, they weren't doing inspections. They weren't doing anything there too.
Right.
So interesting. I guess I didn't really. I don't think. I mean, I'll
that 100%. I mean, you can't argue that was anything other than just the uncertainty of the world. I mean, the whole world was ending.
And how many people got laid off and everything.
100. Yeah, 100%.
Because in March was when everything shut down.
Well, as if they
literally shut down.
Inverse chart. The stock market was way down. Crypto was in the toilet. Yeah, everything just kind of dropped right there. But that is
interesting. Maybe that's what it was. Bitcoin. I guess that was December. That was 2 months ago. So it wouldn't necessarily correlate. I was going to say Bitcoin went down, so maybe that's what it was. But we'll have to wait a couple months to get that data.
See if that would be there. I would say we'll have to have Tara run numbers then too, like from within our office, if that's kind of the same thing.
Oh,
you know, if we keep. But I don't feel like we've had that many cancellations.
I mean, I definitely have.
We've had more
last year. Yeah, I feel like more last year than ever before, where they were just, buyers backing out.
Right.
Winter's kind of gross time anyway in Ohio for real estate.
Right. Yeah. All right, Shub, you good there?
Yeah.
All right, I'll make mine quick here. Like, again, I could talk all day here. So we could all probably touch on this here then too. Well, Shub, you just did this then too. So if you're splitting your lot, or somebody says, hey, I want to build a home, what's it going to take to do? You need somewhere to build it. So everyone's like, oh, go find me some land. Go, talk to a farmer and you just carve some of that out there real quick.
Right.
Like, it's just real easy.
Real quick. Just give me an acre or two.
I just need a couple acres.
Just a couple acres.
I mean, 2 to 5 acres, maybe a little bit of woods, maybe put a pond in there.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
everybody's looking for that secret 4 to 5 acre lot with a pond with a little bit of woods on it.
Yeah, and I don't want to pay very much for it either then too. So, okay, well, that makes complete sense. We've got hundreds of those, so why not? So what does it take to do that? So I got a should be a short list, but it's not. So if you're wanting to do this, so again, I'm just pulling up Seneca County, Northwest Ohio. I'm pretty sure it's much the same all through Ohio. Other states may vary. I'm not sure what it looks like from there then too. But the very first step, you call a surveyor. They're going to do a lot of the heavy lifting from there. Well, I think your first step is call a real estate agent, probably, right? Call one of us. Call somebody that knows what they're doing, that had some experience with that. They will direct you to probably a good surveyor that hopefully can get out there. I don't know if your guys' opinion different, but every surveyor just seems to be insanely busy still. Like they take a lot of time to get out there to get the things done. So you get the surveyor out there, they kind of look at the feasibility, draw up a map of kind of what it looks like here. I'll pull up like just kind of an idea of what we had, if I can not make the thing go insane again. So this is a parcel we have for sale now too. So it's one big massive lot, but they've got it parceled out into multiple different areas then. So, 1, 2, 3, we've sold a couple of these. We still have a couple of them to sell. But you can't just say, hey, I just need 2 acres. I need an acre. You have to define what that looks like. It needs a new legal description. It needs a new deed put together. It needs a new parcel put together. So there's a lot of work that goes involved with this. This one is in town. It has public utilities available, but it's not always the case. If you're out in the country, then you also need to do, what you just go through then too? You need soil samples. You need a driveway. Yep. You need to double check with all the utility providers and make sure you can get, we had to have electricity brought to us, and it just wasn't at where we built our home. It wasn't there. So they had to run a whole bunch of poles to even get up to the direction to where we're at. And then you need you need approval from the county tax map, from the county recorders, from, there's about 50 different things that need to happen. This ChatGPT threw it all together. Came into about 8 different things, but it's for surveyor, township and zoning, health department, road access approval, Ohio Department of Transportation or the county, drainage and floodplain review, that'd be probably the engineer's office, regional planning approval, tax map. This is where you get held up a lot of times, the regional planning and tax map. Not only does it take sometimes a couple months for the surveyor to get there, and then maybe a couple months for them to draw something up, and then they submit these plans, and they might sit on it for a month, 2 months before it gets through tax map, and then it needs to get to regional planning. And then you get through all of that to where you can even just try to sell it. So if you have a buyer ahead of time, maybe they're ready to buy it. But if not, you go through this whole process just to say, hey, I have 1 lot, 2 lot, 4 lots to sell. And then you need to find a buyer, and they kind of go through the whole thing. Their lender, if they have a lender involved, needs to basically be okay with what's being presented here as an option then too. The health department things, there's so many what ifs that too. So Brian, what are you going to build? What's going to be in this lot then to where
can I just throw a tiny house on there?
Yeah. So you need the township the county approvals, township approvals.
I'm just going to catch rainwater and use that.
Yeah, right.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, because if you don't have city water, city sewer, where are you going to put where's your house going to sit? Where's the well going to sit?
Yes.
Well, how many bedrooms is your house, so we know how big your septic system needs to be?
I'm just going to build a shed and then finish it and live there.
Right.
So there's a lot that definitely goes into it.
Which you're never going to get through, the county and regional planning as far as for that. So yeah, there's just so many things that you need to almost know and pre-plan up ahead of time. So again, you Gen Zers, save your money, plan ahead, go through that.
Or move to a state that's not going to require all of these steps, because in Ohio there are a lot of steps. You can't just find me a couple acres. That's like you laugh them kind of back into their seat.
Mine was in an unzoned township, so I didn't have
that does help.
A lot of permits and stuff. We still had to do the
soil
septic
test
and water and stuff like that. But as far as like building the structure and presenting plan, we didn't have to do anything like that.
But in most places, your area is probably very unique. Because I think there's only the 2 townships in Seneca County, I think, that are unzoned.
Well, mine would be in Wyandotte, but
yeah. So but more often than not, the townships are going to have a lot of say over what you're doing then too. So. But
because sometimes the townships even determine how big of a lot you need.
And different than the county. Like the county and the townships.
Maybe you need bigger than 2 acres. Maybe it needs to be a minimum of 5 acres. It just depends. And then kind of the one thing we ran into, just because of the survey, I'm going to mess this up, our lot needed to be a certain width and length. The width had to be at least double the length or something, or it had to be a minimum of double the length, so it couldn't be a long narrow lot. It had to be a certain size, which I would have never even thought, but the surveyor's like, well, let's just do this. Let's split it into 2 separate parcels and make the adjoiner parcel not be able to be sold separate from the front parcel. So it's just, again, getting hooked up with a surveyor that knows what they're doing, that can kind of work around some of those rules and regulations.
Yeah, work within the guidelines that are there then too. And there's only so many ways you can split a parcel, so many times you can, because sometimes people want to split 100 different ways or do whatever, but you can only do so many splits, again, depending upon the county. And so
because it wouldn't make sense to split a kind of like even ours, like our adjoiner parcel's in the back, but if we were to ever split it, you really couldn't, because you wouldn't have access to that back parcel.
I've seen that, like especially with older farmhouses where the kids will live behind mom and dad, like really close. Proximity is like back door, front door, but they're building right behind that, and then eventually mom and dad pass away or whatever, and then they tear that down
that
and have the new. And I don't know how all that works, but I've seen that locally here more probably than anything.
I think most of the time they give you so long to demo the other house. I don't think, because most of the time they want you to have 2 residents on the exact same parcel. So yeah, it's a lot. So I guess I go through all of that just to say that it's hard for us as agents, you know what I mean, even though the experience we have and the number of parcels we've done over the years like that. But when somebody just says, hey, find me some land, go talk to that farmer. It's just not that easy to do that. Not that we can't do it, and we've done it successfully a lot of times, but it's just, we talk about the unicorn property or the very difficult one, something like that. That is like a haystack within a haystack trying to find a needle if you're trying to find that, especially when it's like, oh, I need a little bit of woods and a pond and this and that and everything else. And
and then you run into the farmer who's got the land in CAUV, and then it's a negotiation to figure out who's paying for that.
Yeah, so there's wetlands in CAUV and just a million other things.
I was going to say, because that was one I think we had talked about in one of the very first podcasts that we did. Mine had wetlands on it. I never even knew what it was or where it was until we started doing it, and then come to find out, luckily they were in the back of the woods, and we didn't have to worry about it. But again, it's one of those that it's something to think about.
Yeah. What if you wanted a log cabin right where those wetlands? If that was your goal, was to build,
Yeah, good luck trying to get there through that. Anything with water then too is a whole nother level of screwing around then too. Then you're talking about
water rights and irrigation.
There's a lot with that.
Fields.
Yeah, you're talking almost U.S. government at that point then too, getting through lit engineering. So I don't know. So would love to sell all of you guys lots if you want to build and do all that thing. But there is a lot to it. Doesn't mean you can't do it on your own, but it's just there's a lot of steps involved with that then too.
That's a good podcast topic.
Yeah, go through. Yeah, we could spend all day talking about it then. So it can be done. I did it. Shuby did it personally. We've helped a lot of different people do it. So. All right, we'll leave it there. So I guess this is Happy Valentine. We didn't do anything Valentine's. We didn't do anything lovey-dovey. We did politics. We made fun of certain generations and their inability to save money or have good credit. Are you a Gen Z?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like I'm dogging on. I don't mean to. I just said the whole argument of just any. I'm sure every generation has it different. I'm sure they do. They have
I know
different
millennials were getting. It was a millennial like forever. They were getting the. They were getting the short end of the stick, but now I guess it's been passed. The torch has been passed to Gen Z.
I'm not quite a boomer, but I still had to bust my butt, and I've got hit in the face so many times. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people. Just go work.
Go work.
Just work.
Do the work. Nobody wants to work these days.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. If you don't want to work, I don't know
Get off your ass and work.
I don't know what to tell you. So, you're definitely not buying a parcel of land if you're not willing to work. So, all right, that is episode 72. Did we come up with anything for 73?
We'll be here.
I don't know. Something. It's past Valentine's Day, so I don't know. Do the things, like, share, and we will see you on the next episode.